All right, hey everybody, and welcome back to Set the Pipe. There are a lot of things we're going to be covering tonight, including the GCU conversation that needs to be brought on Set the Pipe. We're also going to be talking about women's beach volleyball in the Gulf Shores that's happening and what's going on, and the JC ranks in the state of California, Division I pairings, D3 finishes, and they have a national champion, and the NAIA for men's volleyball is going on right now. But I can't do this without my partner's co-host. CK's in the house, and then there's Bear, and then back is the East Coast correspondent, Dave DeTenley. Boys, welcome back to Set the Pipe. It's been a while.
What's up, fellas? Been a while.
See you guys.
Good to see everyone.
So let's get right back into the Grand Canyon University men's volleyball, who made a stab at winning a national championship not that long ago, is eliminated from their athletic department. We have a lot to say about this. Everybody's talking about this right now, rightfully so. In our era, we went through a couple. San Diego State dropped their program. Stanford, for a brief moment in time, had a suggestion of not having their men's volleyball continue, but they still are.
Loyola Marymount.
What do you guys think about all this?
It's tragic. I mean, it goes down to what we talked about before of what's the funneling down from the top of the money, from the NIL to the revenue sharing to what's just happening in the landscape of college sports. Grand Canyon University, they're pretty well funded as a university. I'll just say that, compared to a lot of universities around this country. And if they can't keep men's volleyball, it's scary to me.
Yeah, I mean, AD's Jamie Boggs, she brought down the hammer, and people are taking different stance on this in terms of reasoning why it's a business decision. But I think everybody's more pissed off about how it was handled, right? You get a meeting, and then all of a sudden the recruits that are going to go to GCU, the players, all find out on social media. Brutal, in my opinion. Just brutal.
And again, that's things that, as we keep growing as a society with what's going on with sports in general, is going to have to be addressed. Like, they need to do a better job, but this is going to happen a lot. And it's sad. And it's not just for men's volleyball. It's for a lot of sports, a lot of schools. What do you say? Like, it's like, the one thing that I thought about when I read that, the first thing when you sent it and I started talking on my chains, was when we had Al Knipe on here. And Al said, the NCAA is missing the boat and schools are missing the boat. Now, listen, I could be dead wrong. And if I am and someone wants to correct me, please do. But GCU had a real shot at winning a volleyball men's Division I championship. I don't know. This is what I was going to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they are up in the top 1, 2, or 3 in any other sport where they have a real chance to win a title. And that's what Al said. Yep. And that's what Alan said. He goes, these men's schools, these programs from Michigan on down are losing chances to compete for a national championship, because you really can. And so they were in the Final Four last year, Grand Canyon, not 5 years ago, not 10, last year.
Yep.
And within a game of knocking out Long Beach, right?
Yeah, within a game. And now the program's gone, and 12 to 15 guys need to go find other programs to play at.
Is this an isolated situation, you think, or is this the beginning of a snowball situation where other programs are going to start dropping? What do you think?
Well, I'm hoping it's not. I mean, I'm hoping it's not men's volleyball, and I know we're biased, right? But 10,300 back-to-back nights are watching men's volleyball right now. I mean, what other sports are making those kind of crowds right now? To be quite honest. And, my heart goes out to all the players, the coaches. Yeah. I mean, the community itself, I think it's just brutal. And so I rarely read comments, right? Because there's a lot of people commenting, they're uneducated about the sport and about our vertical and volleyball in general. But one of them brought up basically like, hey, they're going into a different conference next year. And they'll be the only one in that conference. What they don't understand is that's just like, well, prior to this year, but last year, or the year before, UCLA Stanford, they weren't part of the Pac-12 conference. They're part of the MPSF, right? And so there should be no reason anybody's even thinking about, well, they're going to a new conference, so no one else plays it, so they can't do it. Wrong. They're in a totally different conference altogether. So yeah, disappointed. I'm disappointed how it's all played out for sure. And I think all of our hearts go out. But yeah, Bear, I hope it doesn't trickle to other universities. I really don't. We're on the upswing. Our popularity is going through the roof. Our people are watching on ESPN Plus right now for everything. So yeah,
and it's being played. I mean, our country, like, Al said this, and a lot of the other folks we've had on here, it's being played throughout our country more than it ever has been, especially at the youth level. So we have so much opportunity of kids playing at those levels for both the boys and the girls. And we just need to continue to grow the chances in men's volleyball. And like, this one hurts, but like San Diego State hurt when we were in college. Like that one hurt probably the most. I mean, it was a bummer to lose LMU too, but those two, like we lost them right, within a year of each other. They were a bummer. But San Diego State, I mean, it's San Diego. It's such a volleyball community, and like for them to lose the program, but it kind of stopped there, right? So for a long time.
UOP.
And, UOP did, but they kind of were late in the game adding the program, and then they turned around more than a handful of years later and canceled it. But I hope it's not the case. We're seeing more teams, elevating, at least on the D3 level. We're starting to see it be played more. So hopefully this is just a one-off and just a business decision for them. And then, for them going into the Mountain West, and most schools, don't have men's volleyball in the Mountain West right now. Would have been great for GCU to go in there and spearhead opening up the Mountain West.
That's what I was thinking.
In volleyball, right? Like, why don't you change that? A lot of them have beach volleyball, women's beach volleyball. They have women's, indoor volleyball. I mean, you have the poles. All you got to do is raise it up, and you're not buying women's poles, right? The poles go to both heights.
They're universal.
So you've already have the poles. You have the balls are different, but you have the facility. You have the balls. You have the nets. You just you got to change the balls out because they're different. Big deal, right? Like, you could do it. They have club teams already at these schools.
Yeah, Arizona's blowing up in men's volleyball right now, boys volleyball right now. Crazy, right? I mean, who knows? The Big Ten, we've been talking about it for at least 3 or 4 pods that, Indiana could join, and Michigan, like you said, the rivalries, Ohio State and Michigan and men's volleyball. I mean, can you imagine that packed house and just the rivalry alone? That would be just crazy great for the sport of men's volleyball. So, yeah, like I said.
One more question on this real quick. Do you think it could be a Title IX thing, bringing in other women's sports? So they had to get rid of men's volleyball, like a women's rugby team or flag football, women's flag football?
It's been around for 17 years. It's not a Title IX thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's been around a long time. And Coley's he has the more pulse on, because of his boy going into, Washington State in 2 years, that he's got more of a pulse on what's actually going on. And he's kind of following the court decision right now. But geez, it's coming down like an avalanche between transfer portals are crazy, NIL is crazy, and all the teams and potentially, the 18 team cap of the players. And so, Coley'd love to hear your insight if you have any, but I know things are kind of stalled a little bit right now.
Yeah, that's part of one of the things that one of the judges was talking about was that 18 team cap. That's kind of where there's a few more things in that. So I'm following it, I want to say every day, but I'm trying to read as much as I can for a few reasons. One is the settlement. My younger one, or my older one, gets part of that.
Sure.
And then 2, what does it look like? Obviously, from my immediate need is my own son, but like, what does it look like? What does this look like for all of our friends?
Right.
A lot of our friends, Al's your friend, Al's my friend, Jarrett's we could go down the road. All of these men and women that coach this sport, what does it look like for them? Like, and I don't think anybody has an answer, like a real concrete answer. So I don't know.
And my understanding for GCU, they're done. Like, they're not even going to give it a year to try to raise funds. They're like, nope, we're done with it. And I was like, I mean, I have empathy, good and bad, but man, put myself in those players' shoes. They get a 5-minute conversation. You're gone. If you want to hang around, you get to keep your scholarship. But otherwise, thanks for being at GCU. I mean, as a 21-year-old, you're going, wait a minute, what did they just say? And they just walked out. They just walked out of our meeting. What? right? And it takes you forever to really get your head wrapped around this thing. And like I said,
Samuelson's buddy, Samuelson was saying that a good friend of his son's found out, like you said, on social media.
Yeah.
A recruit.
And what if you committed there? Yeah. Now you're screwed.
He's a recruit. Yeah. Like,
now you're screwed because you're committed. And I mean, Al's got his kids already, you know, Hawks has his kids already, right?
Yeah,
Northridge, everybody.
Do? What are they going to do? Absolutely.
Yeah. Nuts. So I know
the college is always looking for players.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of talk about this, and I wanted to get it on Set the Pipe, and I know we can talk forever on this, but we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. But like I said, if you haven't signed that petition right now, hopefully get something out of that. Go out and sign that petition that's going around.
Well, you know what I'll say is this, and we've talked about. Last thing I'll say about it, and I've been having this conversation in the last few days. Different sport, but same issue. Yeah. What's really this is affecting is the high school kids. It's just like all those kids in college. Like if you're trying to get to JOs and it's your last year or you're a junior or you're senior, you're trying to get looked at. There's 10 dudes that just are on a college volleyball team that were in the Final Four last year that need to play somewhere. Yeah. So like if there's a scholarship left or there's a space left at Long Beach or Northridge, they're taking those guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, right? and then double up. What if they do an 18 cap?
It's a tough one, man.
So they're looking for a home on teams that already that have to cut their own anyway.
It was so hard when I was a kid. It was really, really, really hard when Jake, 7 years ago, to get a scholarship. It is not almost impossible is the wrong way to say it, but it is so hard now to get a scholarship out of high school for any sport because of those reasons. Yeah. And like I said, this just is even different. Like if you're getting recruited, like we said, imagine being all excited. You're a high school junior or you're a senior. They're about to play the playoffs right here in Southern California for the, the boys playoffs. And if you're a senior, you're probably committed, but you're a junior or you're about to be this. And all of a sudden the sophomore middle who was, conference player of this and is unbelievable. He needs somewhere to play college volleyball. Like, so you thought you were going to come in and be the second or third middle at such and such. Now you're the third or fourth middle. And if there's two middles and they're really good, you're now the fourth or fifth middle when you thought you were the second or third. No other way, not based off how good you were, how much you're training, how your parents are going to get you just steak and potatoes and you're going to put on an extra 10 pounds. Like you're 17, about to be 18, and you're playing high school volleyball. And those two guys that played middle played in the Final Four, and they're 21 years old and they're stronger and they played. Like you just moved down with in the last 2 days. Yep. Nobody's fault. Like it's a crime. It's a crime in some ways. Like I said, NCAA, it's your fault. Make sure you hit subscribe and set the pipe. But that's the bottom line. It's a bummer, and it's going to be very interesting. Like we keep saying all the time.
Didn't Coach Travis on your episode say he still had at the club like 3 or 4 guys on his big team that still hadn't committed?
Yeah,
if I remember right. And he's like, that's
happened.
That's new. That would never happen.
Yeah, and then now they have to compete against 20 kids from a university trying to find a home somewhere, and they promised them, well, we'll give you a scholarship if you want to play club, but that's woo-woo. If you're done with school, then fine, stay at if you really love the university. But I'm telling you, the interviews that I've seen right now, those guys are heartbroken. They're trying to play. Of course
they are.
You don't get to play. You don't get to play at this level.
I'm sad for everyone. Like you said, the whole community of volleyball, we're all sad for. We're part of that. Yeah, but to be one of those kids or one of their family, I couldn't imagine. Like, I mean, I had to deal with like the phone call when COVID got canceled. We're not playing, but I couldn't imagine them saying, "Oh, hey, Dad, guess what? I'm not going to school here next year. Like, there's no more basketball. What? Like, what are you talking about? We just talked to the coach last week. We're on a visit. Like, we bought all the gear. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?"
So the great thing about Set the Pipe is we've had coaches on here, head coaches on here. We have, especially Coley, calls out the NCAA, right? Jamie Boggs, this is on you. This is absolutely on you, and you handle it unprofessionally. So to me, that's it. Let's go on, because I'm just going to get more pissed about it. Bear, let's bring you in the loop on this, buddy.
Bear Dan coming in strong. Let's go to here, Bear.
California Junior College Volleyball had crowned their champion. Talk to us about that, buddy.
Yeah, it was an exciting year. My shout out to Nick Armato and Golden West College for winning it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Golden
since
West.
2013. It's been 12 years since they won it last.
So, Orange Coast was pretty much the number one team all year. And it got a little crazy towards the end too. San Diego Mesa, those three schools were pretty much the top three schools all year. And it was kind of weird how it played out because Orange Coast beat Mesa twice during the year. Mesa beat Golden West twice during the year. Golden West beat Orange Coast twice during the year. So it was kind of inner that way. And Mesa ended up beating Orange Coast in the semis. And then Golden West, who had not beaten Mesa in the finals, beat them in the finals.
Yeah.
How many games?
I think it went four games. And I think one of the sets was 27-25. So it was a little close.
Yeah.
But all in all, my hats go off to Golden West, and Nick Amato's doing a great job there. He started, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago, and didn't have much to work with, and has turned that program around. And we played them this year, and they were solid. And I know he didn't play his complete starting lineup, but he's done a great job there.
All right, congrats, Nick.
Yeah, congratulations, Dick. And my understanding, he had an undersized outside hitter that just went off.
He could fly.
Yep, just went off, can fly, and just leaned on his arm. And the kid from Mesa got his share of kills, but just sounds like the ball control and the kid on the outside just tore it up. So, yeah, congratulations to the Rustlers. Yeah. Golden West College wins the state championship in junior college out in California.
Hey, Barrett, real quick, who do they have a neutral site that they play it in, or is it like higher seed?
It changes every couple of years. I think we vote on it, and since COVID, I think it goes 2 years at one school, but Orange Coast hosted it, so that was another huge thing where, with Orange Coast being as good as they are, I thought it was kind of they were a shoe-in because they're playing at home, and that's a tough gym to play in. So,
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Hey, next topic.
Two little things real quick.
Sorry,
Joe Munoz, who was a libero there, and Jay Pearson played for Golden West, and I coached those guys when they were little guys. So it was good to see those guys win the state championship. So I had to give them a shout out. What you're saying
is they got their ball control from you.
They were just little guys. They were like 12 and 13 when I coached them. Yeah.
That's awesome story. That's awesome. Hey, but you affected them, right?
Yeah.
Go to junior college, whip it up. That's awesome.
Good guys.
Yep. Boys, the next one on our podcast is the Women Beach Volleyball's Championship in Gulf Shores is set. I'll tell you the pairings. Everybody can tune in on one of the ESPN channels. I want to say it's on ESPN2. But UCLA is the number 1 seed with TCU, the number 2 seed. UCLA is matched up with Chattanooga. Florida State, number 8, is matched up with the number 9 team, Long Beach State 49ers. Next bracket, number 5, USC against number 12, North Florida. Number 4, LMU will go against number 13, Florida Atlantic. And Boise State is going to be matched up against Stanford, who has the number 3 seed. LSU 11 is going against Cal Poly at the number 6 seed. The last two brackets has number 10 California versus number 7 Texas, and the last bracket is number 2 TCU versus Georgia State. That is happening on May 2nd. You guys
couple things on that. Texas, shout out to Stein Metzger, first year of the school having beach volleyball, women's beach volleyball in the tournament. Dane Blanton, good luck to you. He's going for a 5-peat. They have won the last 4 women's beach national championships, USC. So he's going for a 5-peat. Congrats to Jenny in her first year coaching at UCLA as the head coach. She's been the assistant to get the overall number 1 seed. And obviously to all the other coaches and women playing in this, good luck. It's going to be super exciting. Can't wait to watch. But some great storylines. Like I said, just mentioned a few of those. Should be pretty fun. And it'll be the first year that I think that I've watched that I can recall in the last 5 years that UCLA and USC are on the same side of the bracket.
same
So
bracket.
and it's single elim now, where they started that last year, instead of double elim, where they would have normally played in the winners final, and then they have almost every year played against each other. That will not happen this year. One of those two, if they again advance to that point, one of them will not be in the national championship match this year. So it'll be some really exciting things to look forward to that. So tune into that. Fired up for some women's collegiate volleyball.
I was going to say Hawaii actually didn't make it, and it cost that coach his job. So Hawaii is looking for a coach right now, and very proud of Long Beach State, Big West Coach of the Year there as well. So if you are not tuning into the NAIA boys or men's volleyball tournament, make sure you turn into the women's beach volleyball. Holly McPeak was very high on that. She wanted us to really get into that because it's exciting. And like Coley said, it's a new format this year. So all good things coming that way. Okay. And so lastly, we got to give a shout out to Boise State. I think this is their first time in the tournament. And Cabry Sullivan, good luck, kid, out there for you and your team. Trained her when she was much younger in Iowa. But I'm rooting for you, kid. Do good things out there. So we know quite a bit of folks out there. So again, tune in if you can. But let's go on to the Division I pairings. We still have Division D3 finishes today because there was a national champion, and NAIA is going on right now. But Division I pairings, guys, what did you guys think about that? It was kind of coming down to the wire there with the Big West tournament and some excitement of who was going to get an at-large bid and who wasn't. What do you guys take?
I loved it. I mean, I was on a bunch of different text chains, of course, locally, some, friends playing, kids' friends playing, but it was super exciting because I think everyone knew Long Beach was in out of everybody. No matter what. Yeah. And so when they lost,
because Hawaii beat them.
Yep. It's like in the basketball thing. It's so cool that if you win your tournament, you get an automatic bid. Yeah. So when UCLA lost, it was the same thing. Pepperdine and SC had a chance to go to the tournament, to dance, right? I was excited to see it. I was excited for that. Hawaii's now in it. Hawaii doesn't win that match, they're not in it. Right. They got themselves in the tournament by winning. I thought it was really exciting.
Does Long Beach deserve the number 1 seed?
Ooh, good question.
I think so.
We talked about this. We've all talked about this. How
in Hawaii,
hard to beat Hawaii in Hawaii. I mean, you talk about that's probably the biggest home court advantage in men's volleyball there is. I mean, the pyramid's great and stuff, but you've got 10,000 people cheering pro Hawaii. It's
3-1 there. In my 2 years I went there. Just saying, I was 3-1.
We won a national championship there. Oh, by the way, but still,
I played in Clum, but that's different.
We talked about that Clum gym.
So Tyler Hansbrough at Duke. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, but you're right. I mean, I don't know. I think they're the best team. They've proven they're the best team. They did lose to Hawaii, who's great, and they lost at Hawaii. And let's see. We'll see. They'll get to play. Maybe they'll play again on a neutral site, and we'll get to see who's the best out there. You don't
think UCI should have got that other spot
over UCLA?
Yeah,
they beat them. UCLA beat them,
and that's what it came down to. The head-to-head.
Well, UCI beat Long Beach as well, but I guess it's head-to-head.
Yeah, but UCLA had beat, I think, UCI twice, and they also, again, nothing's perfect. They were ranked number 1 or 2 almost all season. Sure. They handled almost everyone from east to west. And they, you're not going to go undefeated. They lost half a dozen games or whatever it is, all really tough matches. And I mean, again, I thought UCI was going to get in also, but
but then Long Beach lost and took that other.
That's what took them, right? And that's what hurt. But that's what makes, like Sully's question was it exciting? I think it's always exciting like that when the games matter, right? And that's what, go back only for a second to the women's beach volleyball format is in the, up until last year, it was always double elimination like a normal beach volleyball tournament when we grew up. So if you lost, you still had a shot. If you win in the finals, you'd have to win the double final. Last year, they went to 16 and it's single elimination like a normal, NCAA bracket tournament. You lose, you're out. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. And in the last couple days for both the East Coast, Midwest, and the West Coast, there were games that mattered. If you won, you were in. If you lost, you were out. Right. Yeah. And so that was awesome. I love it.
CK, we were talking before you hopped on. we couldn't remember. Did UCI go to Hawaii and lose both of those? So if they win one, do they get in?
That's a great question.
I don't remember. You know.
They might have split. I don't know. I should know that. We do have the internet. Maybe I'll look it up.
Well, let me tell everybody the pairings here, right? So actually soon up is Damon versus Penn State. That's the first game of the tournament on May 2nd. That winner will play Hawaii. So the bracket is number 3. UCLA will be playing Belmont Abbey on the 8th at 10 a.m. Central Time. So 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Hawaii will play either Penn State or Damon. And then Fort Valley State is the 8th seed. Will play Long Beach State. And then Pepperdine goes against Loyola Chicago. That's probably going to be a great match, by the way. Yeah.
They lost both in 3, by the way.
UCI
did.
Oh, Bozeman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you have it. So anyway, those are going to be exciting. So it all starts on the 2nd, but the tournament really pops off on the 8th. Make sure you guys, everybody tune in. It's only the best thing for sport. But it's going to be exciting. Yeah. And I agree with Coley. I think everybody's holding their breath, especially when Long Beach is playing at Hawaii in Hawaii. So that like people on the East Coast are sleeping, so they don't know who won until the next morning.
I can tell you this. I was sleeping because it didn't come on until 1 or something like that.
It was unbelievable, the crowd. And I mean, I wasn't there, but I had a few friends that sent videos that were there, and it was just electric. And again, that's men's volleyball. Hawaii's always been an outlier for that regards with their fans. Their fans are amazing in every sport.
Right.
They support their school and their student athletes like their family, which is great. But when you're playing in those arenas in Hawaii for volleyball, and there's 10 to 12,000 people for both the men and women's games, it's incredible.
Yeah, awesome. Right now, NAIA is going on, and we've been keeping a little bit of tabs on this. Greg Wrights is a good buddy of ours that didn't make the tournament. But Pool A actually has the Masters, then Park out of Missouri, and Mount Mercy out of Iowa. Pool play is almost finished up. You can go on to NAIA.org, I believe, and there's going to be 2 links. Make sure you click on Urban Edge. Urban Edge, you don't have to sign up for it. It takes you directly to the matches. Pool B, number 2, St. Xavier and Grandview of Iowa and Benedictine Mesa, Arizona are going at it. Pool C, Lawrence Tech of Michigan is number 3, and 6, Missouri Valley, and number 11 out of Kentucky is Georgetown. The last pool, Pool D, has number 4, Missouri Baptist, going against number 5, St. Thomas out of Florida. And number 12, to round it all out, is UC Merced. So again, pool play is going on right now. It'll be finishing up. Make sure you head on over to watch some NAIA men's volleyball. It's a great time of the year to really watch some high-end volleyball at every level. So, good luck to all you boys out there. Okay, DDT, Dave DeTinley. This is your expertise, man. You've been following this. It really is close to your heart, and really thankful for you because we are, before we started Set the Pipe, we really didn't follow D3. So it's really good to see some highlights, and you've been sending me when you're on site and some final points and all that kind of good stuff. So how do we wind up? How do we get there? Lead the way, brother.
You got it. Thanks for having me, guys. So Monday night, the championship happened. Final 4 was Saturday or Friday night, and then it was pushed. It was supposed to be played on Sunday, but it was pushed to Monday. I'll explain that in a sec. Let me just give you kind of a little background of it. So the NCAA D3 men's championships have been going on since 2012, of which only 6 teams now have won championships, with Springfield winning the majority of them. Prior to that, it was called the Moulton Division III Men's Invitational. And Springfield, that happened from 97 to 2012, and Springfield and Juniata pretty much won or split the majority of those as well. So Springfield overall was going for it. I believe it's their 12th national championship. Coach Sullivan, for those out there. So let's just go into some facts. There were some kind of interesting things. So first off, largest field in the NCAA area of 19 teams came into this year's tournament. There were all 14 D3 conferences. The number 1 seeds won their conference. So it was the best out of every conference coming into the tournament, plus 5 at large. bids. So keep in mind this, that Kowloon, the defending national championship, independent, not in a conference. Also Springfield, with its rich history in D3 volleyball, not in a conference. Those were two independents. They were getting two of the bids, and they did end up getting them. Juniata, Messiah, and it'll hit me in a second. One other team got the 5, got all of the at-large bids, and so this is how it shaped up. So there were 3 play-in matches this year. The overall number of top seeds were NYU was undefeated all year long. Whoever they played, they beat, and they went all over and played everybody, and everybody went to them, and they beat them handily. Southern Virginia was number 2. They were undefeated until the last 2 weeks. They went to Springfield after a long road trip and lost at Springfield in 4, but they still held down the 2 seed. Stevens Institute, they just won it a couple years ago out of Hoboken, New Jersey, an absolutely beautiful campus there. They were the 3, if I read the bracket right, and then Wentworth out of Boston also wrapped up the top 4.
So two of those teams that were at-large bids were both in the Final Four, and they were
actually 3 of them.
Oh, 3 of the at-large bids were in the Final Four. Wow.
Yeah, Juniata, Springfield, and Kowloon made
Kowloon. And Kowloon and Springfield played each other.
That's right.
In the
Kowloon upset.
I'll get into that. No. Yes. Oh gosh, that was
Kowloon
a great
upset NYU, baby. They're undefeated all year long. Then bam, Kowloon came through.
And lost the first set at NYU, and then won them, and then swept them from there. So the other one that fell early as well, the earliest number 1 seed was Nichols beat Stevens Institute in the second round after beating the ODAC champion Randolph-Macon. Right. So Nichols came in, and they are the NEVC, and I'll explain that. There's an interesting twist to that conference, the New England Volleyball Conference, or Northeast Volleyball Conference. I think they just rebranded. But so they had avenged an early season loss to Stevens and then beat them, and then went on to the next round. NYU loses to Kowloon in the quarters. Did not see that coming. NYU had dominated all year long, as I tried to allude to earlier. Then Springfield as well, they survived 2 early 5-setters. So they had to play Mount Union was 1. And then the next round, it'll hit me in a sec. And they had a tough one against Carthage, which is out of Wisconsin, also who had won two of the national championships.
They hammered Kowloon 3 straight, though.
Oh my God! So then we get to Friday night. CK. Then we get to Friday night, and I'm thinking, all right, this is Springfield. Okay, so first semifinal of the night was the 3rd meeting, and I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, the whole dreaded curse of the 3rd meeting. But Southern Virginia had played Juniata twice already and crushed them, is fair to say. They beat them in 3-0 every time. This one went 5 and went down to the wire with 15-10, 15-11, I think, in the 5th. I would say Southern Virginia held on. How's that?
Yeah.
How's that? Fair to say. Juniata came to play, and they put it to them. So that was pretty good. The next one right after that, a long we were there for a long time at Roanoke College in Salem, Virginia. Beautiful facility, by the way. But Springfield rolls in. Kowloon had just beat NYU. You're thinking, okay, this is going to be a battle for the ages. No.
Smashed.
No. It was. I want to be very nice to the Kowloon team, but they had a gnarly travel schedule all year, and it just seemed like they caught up with them, honestly. It just did. Says Springfield really demolished them. I mean, so Springfield's no like spring chicken. I mean, they had the number 1, so they had the first team All-American both in the preseason and in the end of the year. Dylan Mulvaney is the setter. They had this pin hitter, Carter Durvage, as well. He was incredible all tournament until we get to the finals. More on that in a minute. And they just destroyed them. So now you go into the finals.
Hey, Dave, real quick, though, that Juniata, Southern Virginia, that first set, 31-29.
Yeah.
31-29. And so Juniata's down. They go into the second set. Juniata gets smashed 25-10.
It was
so they went from a 31-29 emotional
heartbreak
barn burner,
loss. Yeah.
And then they absolutely get their butt kicked 25-10. And then they make it to 5th. They come back and win the third 25-21. the fourth 25-23, and they wind up losing. But holy
what was
cow,
the fifth? What was the fifth set score?
15-10. They lost 15-10. But what an emotional roller coaster for that Juniata team. I mean, just to go the 31-29, then just get squashed. I mean, they could have threw in the towel and said, you know what,
Shows
not
a lot of
our
heart.
day. But they did it. Yeah, a lot of heart to go 5. So yeah,
I'll
continue,
say
Dave.
this
Sorry
too.
about that.
Thanks, Sully. I'll say this, that Juniata was pretty much led. I mean, they were solid. Okay, they're really solid, but they were led by, they have a 5'11" outside hitter, and that guy torched Southern Virginia all night long. But I will say this, in the end, Christian Schaefer was the D3 player of the year. It's just too much of him and Garrick Tolman, their setter. Just too much at the end.
Yeah.
That was it. Just came down to those final 5 points or so.
Yep.
So you roll into the finals, and all things, there's a bunch of things that happened, but you roll into the finals, and there were at least 3 advantages to Springfield. So let's talk about them. One is SVU's starting opposite, Sam Candland, who was a stud, goes down late 5th set, mid 5th set, late 4th set, rolls his ankle. He's out. They throw a freshman in. Can you imagine that? In the national semifinals, throw a freshman in. He comes in, gets a kill right away, and then does a bunch of other good things. He gets him through, or he's one of the crew that helped him. So Candland's out. They're starting Oppo, which means that a senior, Jayton Hall, comes in and plays in the finals. To me, that's advantage Springfield. Okay, so they're not their strength. And then SVU's only loss, like I said, was only 4 weeks earlier, and that was against Springfield. So they know them. They got their number. They've got a little confidence going in. Advantage Springfield. And then Springfield was pretty well rested, all things considered. Now, they both had an extra day because it was pushed due to SVU's church connections there. So it was pushed to Monday night, which was totally fine. And again, well rested. They had the 3-0. The other SVU had the 5-setter. Advantage Springfield again. And then you roll in on Monday, and SVU beat them 3-0.
Yeah,
so
kind of smash them too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me share this with you guys
Yeah,
real
thank
quick. This is championship point. And they go nuts.
Yeah. By the way, this same clip is on the NCAA broadcast, and a bunch of people use it. That's the Dave DeTenley clip. Just
That's
so you
what I was
know.
gonna
That is
say.
me
That's
standing in the
DT,
stands,
baby.
taking that with my.
Our very
I
own.
promise you guys. I'll give shout outs to if I borrowed anybody's thing, but that's a Dave DeTenley clip. So overall, Jayton Hall, the senior right side, comes in, right? The non-starter, I would say. That's no shame to that. He came in super solid, missed his first 2 swings. After that, money. Super solid all the way through. Got to give him a shout out. Christian Schaefer, player of the year. Garrick Tolman, the setter. They were awesome. Freaking awesome. And I just got to call out number 8 on Springfield, Sam Levinson. That guy was great all tournament. Great all tournament. He's their oppo. He's like 6'2". Nobody's huge, by the way, on these teams. Nobody's Schaefer's 6'6", legitimate. But I thought, like, being up in the stands, they all look big, and I thought they were kind of average, like 6'3", 6'4". Nope. You go look at all their thing. They're 6'1", 6'2". These guys jump out of the gym. In the end, it was fantastic. So I just saw something early 26 projections. Springfield brings, I think, almost everybody back. So they're probably
maybe a
gonna
few win it.
more.
more with what's been going on from what we
Amen.
talked about
Oh,
early on.
you're right. You're right.
So-
You know, and the finals with the 2 head coaches, legendary coaches, Charlie Sullivan,
Yeah.
Tom Peterson going head to head. And Tom Peterson, you know, I mean, he was a coach back in the day with us, winds up winning an NAIA, or sorry, Division III national championship. So congratulations
Pretty
to those
cool.
guys, Tom Peterson,
great.
yep, Charlie
That's great.
Sullivan. That guy's won 11 of them, by the way. So for Coach Peterson to get one, that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
Another one at a different level as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Peterson. So
that's pretty. that's
can I give a couple shout outs just real quick? I know I
Yeah,
talked a
man.
bunch, but look, there's a whole bunch of guys out there that follow D3, and they're fantastic to listen to and watch. And I just want to call out Kevin Pratt. Bear, I sent you one of his podcasts, and I sent in one of the podcasts to him. He runs KP here.
Yep.
He does a great job promoting overall. He, by the way, was a player at Pacific.
Oh,
He was
Okay.
back in the day, Kevin Pratt. Frog Jump Volleyball, I've mentioned it multiple times. Coach Ramius, look, they're fantastic. The data they collect, the analysis that they put in, all focused on D3. men's volleyball. And then one final shout out, Coach Mitch Sturkenberg. He's from Marymount University, but he has a great YouTube channel around and promoting D3 volleyball as well. I look forward to all these guys weekly, bi-weekly when they post. I really enjoy them. So
that's awesome. Boys, that was a lot.
work.
I know we could have went into each and every one of those in much more length. Did we miss anything?
Don't think so. It's always a pleasure.
I got one. I got a couple. Hold on. Super STP for your soul. I cannot leave. I got a couple of them. One is this. Okay. New Jersey City Universities just had a player set their all-time block record.
Nice.
I can hear you guys thinking, okay, so what, Dave?
Yeah.
Ready for this? He's a 40-year-old man.
Oh boy.
Love it.
Damon LaSalle.
Good job, Damon.
Stopped playing in the early 2000s, comes back after he's talking to his wife one day. Supposedly the story is it's all these news articles, but he came back to finish out his career and set the all-time block record.
Bear.
How about that?
It's amazing.
There's still time.
Still
One
time,
year
Bear.
eligible left.
You have one more year
I thought that was a
left.
great story. 40-year-old dude. There's a great picture of him too.
Do you guys have? Is there team handball at Santiago? Because I can jump into a new sport.
Weren't you going to do that in the
Pickleball.
Olympics?
Pickleball.
Weren't you on the
Pickleball,
national
CK.
team
Come
court?
on.
I thought
For what? What
for
sport?
handball. Team
No,
handball.
no, I
I
knew
thought you
fun-
had a shot at that back in the
I-
day.
Really?
No, I wouldn't say I had a shot.
They asked you to
did.
try out or something.
When I was
did.
rehabilitating my ankle,
Yeah.
I had met a bunch of the guys that had played on the team. And
I actually
it's not
did, Bear.
Sully. I want to hear Sully's story. It's not a
True
well
story.
played sport here in this country. Team
No.
handball.
True
It's a great
story.
game, by the way. Also, it's really fun.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna consider doing it, thinking about it. I mean, I would have had to, devote my time. My ankle was just getting better. This was back when I was just finishing up college. But so no, I never did do it. But I love the game, and I've played it before. And I think if people played the game, they would really think it's fun. It's a pretty fun game to play.
It is
Would
fun.
your-
We used to do
would
it
your
for
ankle
warm-ups
have held up?
when I played over in
DK?
Europe.
I'm sorry.
Would your ankle have held up? I mean,
Yeah,
is
I mean,
it-
right
I've watched
after-
it in the Olympics, but I'm not.
Back then it would have. I was still fine. I went and played in Europe, and that was fine back in those days.
Yeah.
Looking back at my journey, I wish I would have done it. I wish I would have tried. Doesn't mean I would have even made the team. Sully, let's hear your story.
So, Dave,
Absolutely.
this is going to come close to home, and as well as Bear. So there was a guy in my wedding named Carlos Kirby. Do you remember that name?
Oh, whoa! Seriously?
So Carlos Kirby was a football player at Long Beach State, came from Iowa. All of a sudden, he didn't come back to the dorms the following year. So I'm like, where the hell is Carlos? I mean, we don't have cell phones. We don't have internet. We don't have any of that stuff. Come to find out, he became a Olympian bobsledder. First
Wow.
ever
Yeah.
a Winter Olympic bobsledder out of the state of Iowa. He went to two of them. He beat Willie Galt. Remember that name? Willie
Of course,
Galt. in
wide
his-
receiver for the Bears, baby.
Yep.
Number
Beat him.
83.
Beat him in the sprints. That's how fast Carlos was.
Wow.
So he went to two Olympics, and that was when the Olympics switched. So it was Winter
Every
Olympics
2
like
years
only-
for the-
it was
for the
2
quick
years,
one. For
right?
the
It was a
quick
quick
one,
one.
yeah.
So he got to do both. Calls me and says, "Hey, they need some athletes like us to go out for the handball team. Are you in?" I'm like, "What? Like, aren't you a bobsledder? Like
A little
this is
blue
out
ball,
of
the
blue."
handball. Like you mean that or no?
No. So
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
T-ball, right? Yeah, for sure.
I know what team handball is. I was
team handball,
joking
right?
like you didn't know. Because when you say that to a lot of people, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you mean like with the,
ball
ball with the
against the
blue?"
wall?
No,
Big
No
rubber
racket,
ball.
racquetball without the
yeah.
racket.
no.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. But anyway, so
ball's
so
hard
he
as
was
shit,
like,
too.
"I'm invited to go. I'm a part of the Olympic movement still. You interested?" And it just so caught me off guard. But yeah, he was in my wedding, Dave. But yeah, he was in the
remember
same
him.
dorms that Dave
That's
and I
right.
lived in. We were
Yeah.
It's awesome. One thing we haven't talked about, and it's another discussion, and I'm going to bring someone on here, is the paravolley, the sitting volleyball. So I actually did try out for the sitting volleyball team because of my ankle is considered
Really?
A disability.
a disability, and it was so fun, and it is not easy. I think we should dedicate some time in the future to talk about Paralympic volleyball or para
I would
volleyball,
love
sitting,
to.
because sitting volleyball, it's actually really fun to play. It's
It
hard
is
too.
close to my heart, and I'll tell you why. So I don't know if you guys know, my youngest was born without any right fingers.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
not
So
know
she's
that.
a soccer player. She's a trackster. You don't know unless you look or you tell them. And then so her name's Kylie. And then Kylie had a friend named Kylie who I trained in private lessons for volleyball. And she had a prosthetic from the knee down. So she moved to somewhere because of her dad's work, but she's doing sitting volleyball right now and absolutely loving it. So Kylie is actually eligible to be Paralympics if she wants to do other, because there's a certain section for her. But yeah, the other Kylie is actually really involved in it. So it'd be kind of neat to get a, junior and high school perspective on what's going on.
I would love to talk about it, because when I tried to pick it up, I did real quick here in San Diego. I knew some people. I went out to the training facility in Oklahoma.
Really?
I did in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually went and tried out on the team. Like I actually tried out. And again, we can tell this at a different time, but it was amazing. And like my roommates where I was staying for the weekend or the 3 days I was there, like they both were ex-military and they both didn't have any legs.
Oh, awesome.
And they were amazing. And I just felt so not out of place, but almost disrespectful in a way. Like,
because
you come rolling in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm walking in.
Yeah,
I mean, there's other people that walk too and have different things, all kinds of things. And again, I'm legally disabled because of my ankle. It does, the whole thing that I went through, and it doesn't move. I can't jump or whatever. It doesn't matter. But I was so mesmerized, at the level of volleyball and how they play the game itself, but just like the human being these people are. Right. Just the fortitude, like no big deal.
Competitive.
Like I get up and I'm tired in the morning and make a coffee. Like they're putting on their legs and like, it's like no big deal. Like, and just super like, don't look at me differently. Like I'm who I am. Like it's just
Kylie was the first one in her kindergarten
my legs on,
to
I'm
tie her
good.
shoes. She was the first one in her kindergarten class to tie her shoes, not because we taught her. She figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, and they just figured it out. And if they got that competitive streak and love the sport, they've got a chance to do it. And it's, that's cool. I didn't know you tried out. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
It was a tough weekend though, because I was debating to play, to continue it down. It was the same weekend I was about to fly home, and Kobe Bryant was killed that day that weekend. And so I was like, do I want to do this? Yes, because I still wanted to do it for me. This is what we talked about, to do this.
Sure.
But at that moment, I just couldn't take myself away from my children and my family with what I just saw happen with Kobe.
Yeah,
I'm not going to miss, even though it's an Olympic dream of mine, to try to make it and do these things. Right. And I was like, I'm over that. I'm good.
Okay, that wasn't that long ago then.
No,
so
it wasn't.
5 years ago? 6 years?
Yeah.
How long?
It was right before COVID.
Yeah. Okay.
It was. I should know the date because it was devastating to me, but it was literally
5 or 6 years ago.
Right before COVID is when that happened with Kobe. Actually, it was because it was in 2020. It was in January of 2020.
Okay.
Jake got buckets up at to the sixth man of the year at Oregon. Pritchard, he gave them a 20-piece at UCLA. UCLA lost, but Jake still gave him a 20-piece. But it was that same day Kobe died. Jake gave Oregon a 20-piece, and I was flying home from Oklahoma City. And I was on the flight home, and they had talked to me about, hey, we'd love to have you. Like, you could be part of the program. It wasn't like I was some crushing it or anything, but it would have been fun. And I was learning the game, and I was interested in doing it, and then on the flight home, I thank God they had ESPN. I got to watch Jake play on the TV, but it really just put it all into perspective for me, because he was one of my heroes. He's Jake's hero, and to see him die like that, and with his daughter, and then his family without him, and I was just like, you know what? Like I played volleyball, and it was a hell of a run for me, and I wish I didn't get hurt, and would have liked to see what I could have done had I not got hurt. But it's my page has been closed for a while, and this is way more important to me, especially after what I was just, sobbing through for that day. And, but yeah, I'd love to talk about it. I've talked to Lori Okamura, who,
I was going to say, really, Lori just stepped down though, right? She just stepped down, but to have her come on, that'd be great.
I just reached out to her, literally last week. And so when we talk about our times, I'd love to have that on. And talking to her via the email made me think about something that's one part of volleyball we haven't talked about on here. Man.
I'm 100%
and I think
down.
I think we need to, because it's a great sport, and it's there's a lot of folks that play that, and it's part of volleyball.
I think that's great.
Hey, big shout out, because it's one of the marquee events in the Valor Games, which is for wounded warriors, servicemen as well. I've worked one of those, and as a former service guy in the service, so big shout out. It's really fun to watch.
Hey, so to wrap this up, I remember when we were at Nationals A6 Paul Mitchell, and everybody's at the beer garden, and I just happened to go walking around, and there was this guy, and I'm like, his sets were super clean. I'm like, but something's not right. Couldn't figure it out, right? And then these guys are all wearing red, white, and blue. I'm like, oh, and I saw a guy with the prosthetic. I'm like, so what's the setter doing here? I'm like, oh. I ran back to the beer gardens, and these guys are all talking up a storm. I'm like, you guys got to follow me right now. You have to go see this right now. So they all, whatever, Salt Lake, fine, we'll go over there. So that we went over there. This guy's setting nectar, and no spin every single time. He doesn't have any hands.
What?
He doesn't even have any hands. I mean, it is wrist down. He was unbelievable.
I remember that team. I remember that team.
Blew me away. I'm like, I've got no complaints in the world. They were unreal. It was really fun to watch them. Good stuff.
Have any of you, either the three of you, played sitting volleyball?
No, I never have.
Mm-mm. No,
never have.
How hard was it? Honestly?
It's pretty difficult. And to, again, another discussion, but like the rawness and the on it nonstop and the hitting and the, bloody and just like I
love watching it.
It's not easy moving around on that. But it's a lot of the same similarities in the game. Of course, the hands, the blocking, you can use your hands a lot, which I love, which we weren't able to do.
Right.
And I just, I had played once in San Diego for like 2 or 3 hours. And one guy was an ex guy who had played on the team, and they're like, you got to go, like, cause you had played, and they don't get a lot of guys that had played at that level down
with the volleyball IQ, right?
That got hurt and get to play. It's more like learning, from those things or played and whatnot. So I was super stoked. So the next thing I know, I'm going to Oklahoma City, and I went right into the thick of it. Like, I'm like, oh, I played once too. Like, you're training with the national team.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, here you
Feet
go.
to the fire, baby.
Yeah. Like I was like, dude, trying to do drills and like, and I'm a competitor. So like, I'm not trying to act like I'm hurting. Like I'm going to do it. Like it was
your core okay? Cause that's a lot of sitting up.
Yeah. That's fine. It's your butt that ends
butt
up
and back, I would imagine.
So,
Well, good stuff, boys. Thanks for doing another episode of Set the Pipe. We've got more in the bank for everybody out there. So we're going to be posting them pretty soon. So for everybody, CK, Bear, DDT from the East Coast. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you, boys. Love you guys.
Set the pipe.
See ya.
Set the pipe.